You can change this to this. A stunning polished concrete wall with zero experience and at a great price. Here's how.
In my studio space, I had this one big wall that was really dull and boring. So during lockdown, I decided to
Research feature walls, Venetian plaster walls, concrete walls, polished concrete walls.
and I looked at lots of different techniques, and I found a product that has made this super easy to do. I will take you step by step through every single stage so that you can achieve something like this and probably better.
Now, in order to achieve a finish like this, you are going to need some basic equipment, most of which you will probably have already. The magical ingredient is Craig & Rose Artisan paint. The particular paint is called Concrete Onyx Edge. Comes in a small tin, but it really does stretch far and wide. My studio wall is 7 meters wide by 2.4 meters high, and I used one tin of paint. Now, it does come in at quite a high price, at £55. That would probably be about maybe $65 or around about 60 euros. But the finish is unlike anything else. You're also going to need a 1-inch brush for cutting in and any intricate areas. Masking tape always helps speed up the process along those long straight edges, even though I still had to tidy up at the end. A roller and rolling tray. Your roller should be the furry kind of roller. You're going to need a mini trowel. I didn't have one of these, but I picked one up from Amazon for about £10. Microfiber cloths are always good to have. There are many different types of finishing waxes. This is actually a furniture finishing wax that is designed to go over paint, but it worked really well. I did use a sponge as well to apply some of the wax in certain areas. And most people have a drill, but I would suggest to get the highly polished finish at the end, you will need the use of a drill and something I didn't have, which was a buffing attachment. I picked this one up from Amazon for about £10, and it came with 5 buffing pads, and I only used one throughout the whole finishing process of polishing the wall. So to start with, I suggest just masking up as much as you can around the skirting boards and the ceilings. And here you can see I'm starting to cut in with the 1-inch brush. And because I've never done this before, my inquisitive mind wants to just see what this paint looks like on the wall, how it feels. It's very, very thick. And I'm just playing around with it with a trowel just to see how I can create the finished effect. Now you can see behind the paint, the original wall is showing through. So I'm realizing now that this is going to be a series of coats to get to the finished effect. When you're applying the paint with the roller, be very liberal with the paint. It's like you want to overload the roller so that you create a thick layer of paint, because then when you stretch it around with the trowel, you'll see how much it spreads around the wall, but also gives you that varied colour. Now, if you've seen professional Venetian plasterers, you'll see that when they use a trowel and the plaster, they create almost a pattern that's not completely identical, but there is definitely a feel. I am not a professional Venetian plasterer, so I am just creating a textured, random, concrete, polished wall. So on we go with the second coat, literally doing exactly the same thing I did on the first coat. Please do like, subscribe, hit the bell notification and comment down below. It really helps with our interaction on YouTube. Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of the video. It's really important to apply a lot of pressure with your trowel and also have a clean edge on the trowel. So if you start to get an accumulation of paint, make sure you clean it off so you've got a nice clean edge. You really want to be sort of scraping that paint, almost pushing it into the wall. You don't want to be taking it off the wall. The great thing about this wall is because it is so varied and has such a random texture, any areas where you make mistakes, it's so easy to go over, or parts that aren't quite filled, you can go over. Now, I didn't put this in the equipment list, but you will need a sanding block and some sandpaper. This is a relatively fine grade of sandpaper just to sand the wall back slightly. Here you can see a mistake that I made, and that is that I didn't sand the wall at the very start. I assumed the wall was flat, but you can see there are little speckles from where the wall was previously painted, and where I'm sanding it's actually coming off. So those areas will now need to be touched up, but I'm really liking the look of the texture of this wall. And this is something a plastering friend taught me, and that is just to sharpen the edge of your trowel so it's almost like a blade, and this will create an unbelievable shine on this flat paint. Now, if you thought the rolling was tiresome of the arms, this part is really challenging but doable. It's good exercise as well, but you really have to apply pressure. I'm really pushing into the wall with the trowel to buff and polish that paint as much as I can. You can actually see the areas where the trowel is making it smooth now, and that's going to get a reflective quality. So we're about 6.5 hours in, and I'm really liking the look of the wall at this stage. You can see the reflective nature of the wall already, and we haven't even applied the wax and polish. And with my back wall LED lights on, you can see them reflecting as well. Here's the Rust-Oleum furniture finishing wax. You can see where I've already applied it, it instantly darkens up the wall. Again, I'm applying this really quite liberally with the sponge. It won't fall off the wall, so just get as much as you can on the wall. It really brings out some of the texture, and the smoother areas really shine through. So now that's dried, we're going to go through and give it another coat of wax. Unfortunately, in parts you can see those speckled areas still coming through. It's things I'm going to have to sort out afterwards with just a dab of paint. So this is with even more polish on the wall, and I've really buffed this up using the microfiber cloth and the sponge. You'll notice I've also got an electric heater over there as well, and that was just to make the room quite humid, which helped dry the wall. And now we take out our drill with the buffer pads and the buffing attachment, and this honestly made such a difference. You can't see it from this angle, you can see in parts it starts to become almost mirror-like. That's with half the wall done, just one part of the buffering. You can see the shine, and what's great is it really brings out all of the textures and creates almost like a mirror-like effect with a great texture, rich color. It's the perfect backdrop for my filming. With more buffing, a little bit more polishing, we end up with something that I'm really pleased with and managed to do in under 24 hours minus a little bit of sleep.
So that was the exact process to get from a really dull plain wall to something far more interesting and appealing as an office space, as a studio space, but also as a background that I can use for filming. The key mistake that I made was just assuming that the wall was flat. So make sure you just take a sanding block, sand off any imperfections, it'll save you work later. If you do try to do this and you attempt it, or you've got any other questions, please comment down below. I do get back to people as quickly as possible. And also tag me into your pictures or your videos if you attempt to do exactly the same thing. I'd love to see what you get up to. If you've enjoyed this video, please do consider subscribing to the channel, liking this video, and comments always help as well. And also check out either one of these videos as well to see my other shenanigans. Lots of love, take care, see you soon.